Hi friends, it's Wednesday, so you know that means I have a new video for you. It's full of Dollar Tree, decor ideas, DIY, and more. Now if that's something you're into, I highly suggest you hit that subscribe button. Today is also the day of my monthly challenge, and I'll be telling you more about that shortly. Let's get crafting. And I'm showing you guys this because I promised you last time that I do know how to use a drill. And this is more... That was my husband's workshop in the background, but this is more scrap wood that I stole from my husband's workshop, and he now actually thinks it's adorable that I'm actually using tools and and wanting to use pieces like this for my DIYs. So I'm happy he's okay with it. So next I'm taking my finger sander, and after I drilled 2 holes at the very top, you'll see why I did that in a little bit. But I'm taking my finger sander and I'm smoothing this out completely because this was a very old piece. I'm not even sure what it was last used for, but there's a lot of sharp edges on it. So once you feel like it's in a good place where it's completely smoothed down, then you can paint it. So I'm taking my Mineral Waverly chalk paint, and I want to say I gave this front piece 1 coat, and then the second side I did 2 coats because the other side of the piece had a lot of sharp pieces sticking out, and that was just one way I felt like could kind of prevent them from hurting me when I'm holding this, because the sanding, it only went so far. So definitely there were some pieces where I had to just kind of take them off myself. So I just decided to cover this with a few more coats of paint. So next I'm taking some Dollar Tree wire, and honestly this was the best kind of wire to use for this part because it was just so easily bendable. And if I had used a stronger wire, it definitely would have given me more trouble, and I really would have had to use some kind of wire holder or cutter or something to be able to bend it. So I'm just using this to basically kind of tie around the piece, and it's wire, so it all kind of sticks together so when you're bending it around. So I'm just taking this to do with the same side, and I'm taking these wooden beads, and this was more of the wooden beads from that pack that I got at Michael's, but I'm gonna link down some wooden beads I found that are cheaper than the ones I got. I found them on Amazon, so I linked them down for you below. So I'm just doing the same process on this side to make a little handle using these wooden beads. And you may have noticed I've been obsessed with this trend lately. I don't know why, but every time I see a DIY that I'm doing, I'm like, oh, I could just add a little something more to it by adding these wooden beads. So that's what I end up doing. So next, I just used my Cricut, and I printed out this little design, and I found it for free on Design Space. If you type in camping on Design Space and you filter it to the free designs, this should be in there. And I'm not sure if it's just for Cricut Joy or just Cricut in general, but that's how I found it for free. And they had a couple other camping images for free as well, so definitely check it out. So next I just put that onto my transfer tape, and using the grid of my transfer tape, I'm using that to make sure that this is perfectly level. And I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit more about Cricut in my next video, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But for now, I'm just going to go quickly, and I'm not doing a Cricut tutorial for you guys today. So next I printed out this cute little saying, and I found it on Pinterest. I thought it was too freaking cute, and it's really punny. So you'll see the final result in a little bit, but I mean, come on, it's so cute. So after I took off the vinyl, I just weeded out those little pieces in between on the E and the O's, and I just then put it onto my transfer tape, and I'm going to use my transfer tape the same way I did for the camper, and I'm going to align this up perfectly using the grid and just place it right at the top of this sign. So once it's lined up where you want, you just press down. You can use your scraper tool or your fingers if you're really strong. And that's all you need to do. And this sign is basically done. I'm just making sure all of my vinyl actually stuck to the piece. I'm obsessed with this, you guys. Oh my gosh, I might continue using this all throughout summer. I mean, I thought it was the perfect piece for the top of a tiered tray. So, like I said earlier, today's video is for my monthly challenge, so that means there is a playlist on this video, so make sure to check that down in my description box, and it's full of videos made by fellow DIYers for this monthly theme. And this month's theme is Let's Go Camping, and it's co-hosted by my friend Adrienne, also known as Full-Time DIY Mommy. So let me tell you a little bit about her. We met on Instagram a while back, and I'm so glad that I've gotten to know her. She's also a farmhouse DIYer, but she makes especially beautiful creations from solo wood flowers and her very own custom stickers. She's incredibly talented, so be sure to check her out. Go check out her video too. She also made one, being my co-host, for the playlist. So be sure to tell her that I sent you. And make sure you check out all of the other DIYers on this playlist. They're so excited for this Let's Go Camping theme. And next month there's going to be a new theme and a new co-host, and that's just what I'm going to keep doing month to month. So if you would like to join my challenge, make sure to send me a message on Instagram and I can add you to the group chat where we chat about our ideas for that monthly challenge, and then we chat about the theme, and this is basically where you get all of your information about the challenge from. So make sure to send me a message on Instagram if you want to be in future challenges. So this is actually a little camper that I found at Dollar Tree, and you might have seen it, but it was one of their summer little mini pieces, and they have kind of things for, I don't know, a tiered tray, or maybe it's like a garden piece. I'm not really sure, but they had these tiny little things similar to what they do in Christmas time with the Christmas Village. They have those little pieces and figurines. This is one of those. So obviously the color scheme wasn't really working for my style, so I used white Waverly chalk paint to coat it first, and let me tell you guys, that paint was really, really hard to cover. So to save time, definitely do a spray chalk paint, and I think that should stick. But I did 4 coats of white Waverly chalk paint first, and then now, as you see me doing here, I'm doing this Waverly ink color chalk paint, and I'm doing a black and white modern farmhouse theme look to this camper. And I didn't film the entire process of me painting because it really took a long time, so I'm just going to skip ahead in a little bit. But what you just see me doing here is just trying to paint the parts that I think should be, I don't know, black or white. So I think it comes out really cute later, but I just didn't want to bore you guys with the rest of that painting. So next, I'm taking this raffia and I doubled it up, so I'm just cinching the middle, and that's what you see me do there. And I love doing that because then it comes out into a cute little bow. So I'm just cutting off the extra long pieces in the back and the little pieces on the end because I don't need the pieces to hang down a lot for this to be a cute bow. But I just try to line it up where I think is going to look so cute on the top of this camper. And I can't wait for you guys to see what this is going to look like when it's finished, but I have to show you the finished product at the same time as another one, so I don't think I actually show you the footage here yet. Maybe I do, not sure, but now I just hot glued that to the very top, and that's it. That's done. There you go, you can see it. So that is what it looks like, and I'm going to show you the other DIY next to it shortly. So I'm Megan, and this is Marcus the Crafty Kitty. I'm sorry he wasn't in today's video, but I love to make Dollar Tree DIYs and home decor that looks high-end but is budget friendly. So if you could please give this video a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you're always notified of our next upload. It could really mean a lot, and it would really help my channel grow. So thank you guys, and we're gonna get back to the crafts now. So I'm taking these larger wooden beads, and I got these in smaller packs at Hobby Lobby actually, and they were just quickly where I needed to go to find larger size beads. So I'm just placing some hot fudge looking paint into this bag, and this is folk art paint, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was kind of like an espresso color, but to me when I was pouring it into the bag, it looked like hot fudge, so that's just what I'm calling it. But that's not the name of the color, obviously. But anyway, I'm using that bag technique that a lot of crafters have started doing. But essentially, it's the easiest way to paint your beads, and just don't put a ton of paint in these bags, because then once you take the beads out of the bag, then they have all kind of weird clumps of paint on them because you put too much in the bag. So just start off using a tiny little dab of paint first. And then if it's not enough paint, you can add a little bit more. But the problem is if you add way too much in the bag, then your beads are gonna come out with clumps of paint on it, and that's not attractive. So I kind of had to, so I ended up taking a little bit of the extra paint off with my fingers because I was just kind of impatient. And then you'll see my fingers there are just completely coated in white paint because I was doing that. So I learned my lesson. Don't use a lot of paint. And just to get them dried quickly, I did go ahead and use my heat gun. And I went ahead and linked that down for you below as well in my description box. So now we're just doing the third and final color. So that is Waverly Mineral. Yeah, that is Mineral, and the white that I used is Waverly White. I was kind of trying to do a combination to do like a lighter brown with the plaster Waverly chalk paint and that folk art brown color that I was using, but it didn't come out as milk chocolatey as I would like. So then I just moved on and decided to use the Waverly Mineral color for the third beads. So this garland has 30 beads in total. I did 10 of each color, and that was really the best combination. And over there you can see that wood round is actually from Dollar Tree, and that is going to be the very end of this garland. So you just start off making the pattern that you want, and I decided to do the dark first and then kind of go from like dark to light, and I thought that would maybe be a cool combination. And then later I thought that actually kind of looks like, I don't know, it just kind of reminds you of like chocolate or something, or Hershey's chocolate or something in a way. And then when I was loading everything up onto my tiered tray, it really looked like that. So I was like, this is perfect. So I was no longer worried about making that other color. But what I'm doing now is I'm trying to make the tassel for the end of it, now that I have all the beads threaded onto this garland. So I just kind of, I hot glued a loop because I'm sure there's other ways you can do it, but I decided to just make my own loop using some hot glue. And then I was going to thread the tassel onto that end. And things don't exactly go as planned, and you'll see what I end up doing, but I'm sure there's a million other ways you could do this, but this is just the way that I ended up doing things. So I decided to make this wood round white for the vinyl that I'm going to place on it. I wanted it to really stand out, so I gave it a white background. I didn't actually paint the sides of this wood round. I thought it would look better just leaving that raw wood. So that is just my personal style choice. But I just went ahead and painted both sides. So this is another free vinyl image off of Design Space that I also found by just searching for camping and then filtered to free images, and that's how I found this. So that is going to be the centerpiece of the wood round. So once I have it on my transfer tape, I'm just laying it down, also making sure to use the grid because that is the best way to make sure everything is straight. So you can press down with your fingers or use the Cricut scraper tool. And I always end up having to use that because I never press down hard enough. And then once it's transferred, I am obsessed with it. It ended up being the perfect size for the wood round. So make sure you use a ruler, a measuring tape, whatever, to make sure you line that up with the project that you're trying to make off of Cricut. So I put the little piece that came with the wood round onto this garland. I had tied it onto there. And now I'm just going to put it back onto the garland. I had taken it off to paint things, so anyway, once that is tied on, then you're almost done, and I'm going to shift to making the little tassel. Like I said, there's probably a million other ways you can do this, but in the moment, I was crafting kind of late, so maybe I wasn't in my regular set of mind, but to me, I was like, I'm just going to tie this on. And maybe it's actually for the best because then I can switch out the garland with other designs I want in the future. So it doesn't necessarily have to be this image and this wood round, but maybe I could switch it out with other things in the future. So I'm just using some Dollar Tree twine, and that's what I actually used too for the string of the garland, but I'm using that to make my tassel. So I doubled this up a bunch of times, and that's how you make your tassel. And mine might actually be a little bit too skinny, I know, but I think it's honestly just the twine itself that's kind of throwing things off, because it's a very skinny kind of twine that I'm using. So, but yeah, so I noticed that there was, after I cut all of these strings off, there was kind of a big gap between the little hook that I had made on the end of the beads and the tassel itself. So I'm just cleaning up all of these ends here. I just want them to be perfectly even, so it's a cute little tassel. And I did tie it near the top, and that's what gives it the tassel look. You kind of come down about 1/2 inch. So I just adjusted that, and then once it's on, this is how it looks. And then I filled up my tier tray with all kinds of s'mores and cute things like this. And I thought all of these items would be cute for a tiered tray. So this is the direction I went. So make sure you check out all the other DIYers on this playlist. They came up with some really, really creative ideas. So please go check them out. I left the playlist link in my description below. And if you want to check out more videos, watch them here on the left. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.